I'm going to be talking to you guys about why teachers should be allowed to carry firearms onto school grounds, which I know that first hearing this, the people think no, that shouldn't be allowed, right? But I honestly disagree. So today I'm going to be talking about is, like school shootings. So the big thing that my topic is based around is school shootings and how we can prevent them. And so a big idea with that is allowing guns into schools, but in a way that is safe for the students and for everybody else. So who has seen the sign walking into their college campus, high school campus, doctor's offices? Yeah, everybody's seen it, right? So whenever I walk onto school campus and I see the sign, I know that this sign pertains to me and it pertains to all the faculty, staff, professors, teachers at schools. So that means that they're not allowed to carry firearms in. So today I want to discuss this topic and talk about the states being able to allow guns in schools. Now, there are already 10 states that allow guns in schools, and these include Alabama, Alaska, Idaho, Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Utah, and Wyoming. So a fifth of the country already allows guns in schools to protect their students. Now, we still have four-fifths to go. So here is what I am going to be talking about. So the main issue is with school shootings, and there have been a lot of very unfortunate circumstances in which students and or intruders have gotten a hold of firearms, whether they got it from their parents or they got it from a friend or they got it from just some random person on the street. These malicious people somehow did get a hold of a firearm, and they came into a school where there was nobody there and there was nobody to protect all of the other students, and there was nobody there to protect all of the other faculty and staff in these schools. So to kind of give you guys an example of why we should care about this and why there's such a need for us to make a change, I'm going to talk about a few different problems that we've had in the past. So I'm going to start by talking about what happened at Virginia Tech. So this happened on April 16th in 2007, where there was a 23-year-old college student who came to campus at 7:15 in the morning with guns and started shooting people. And this resulted in 32 people being dead and another 25 being injured. And directly after this, he shot himself. And in the next case, this actually took place at an elementary school, which is beyond sad. But this happened on December 14th in 2012. And in this case, there was a 20-year-old male who was a little mentally unstable. And before going to school that day, he shot his mother, then proceeded to take the gun to school and shoot 6 adults in the first 11 minutes that he was at the school. And by the time he was finished, there was 26 people dead. And right as the police showed up to get him, he shot himself. And so in the last case that I'm going to talk about is Columbine, which is one of the most popular ones. This happened at Columbine High School in Colorado on April 20th, 1999. And in this case, there was a 17 and 18-year-old. Both students brought guns to their high school and started lining up students and shooting them. Unfortunately, this resulted in 13 people being dead and another over 20 people being wounded. And of course, directly afterwards, the two shot themselves. So in this case, you see that in all 3 examples, the students ended up killing themselves before law enforcement officers were able to reach the students who were hurt, or they were able to reach the shooter themselves, or before they were able to help any other students get out, like the ones that were killed. So obviously there is a problem that needs to be solved within the school system. Law enforcement officers can't really do much whenever it comes to school shootings. If they storm inside, that could cause the assailant to want to shoot more and to kill more people. And so it's a very sensitive subject and they have to handle it very delicately. So something has to be changed within the school to protect the students. So what I suggest is that students not be able to bring guns, of course, but teachers and professors go through extensive gun training and safety training. And then after that, of course, they have to have their CWP, which is a concealed weapons permit. And they would have to go through all of the classes, go through gun safety classes. And not only this, but if the gun was to be kept on school grounds, it needs to be kept in a very secure location that the students do not know about. And the teachers, only the ones that have the certain qualifications that they need are allowed to have these guns and are the only ones who have the access to reach these guns. So if this was done similarly to how the other 10 states have already done it, then this could hopefully and potentially help stop school shootings as a whole. But the one main issue is that a lot of people say that the guns are the reason that we're having all of these problems. They say we need to take away guns, we need to take away rights, we need to change this, we need to have it where people have less guns, but I completely disagree. I say that whenever people who are malicious get a hold of these guns, that means that they are the ones in control. But if you give the people who are trying to protect themselves the control, then this could possibly save numerous lives. If you take a situation like a school where everybody is so innocent and nobody has anything to protect themselves, and then you bring somebody in with malicious intent who also has a firearm, it's potentially fatal for everybody else. And even on our school, we've recently had a couple of security problems. Like last week, there was a burglary. There was a burglary suspect on campus, and there was police out here and everything else. Now, this easily could have turned into that burglary suspect coming into one of our buildings and then walking into one of our classrooms, and then the unthinkable happening. And we wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. So that's why I propose that teachers and professors, faculty and staff, with extensive training and of course a lot of qualifications, be allowed to carry guns in school. Because the guns are not the problem, but it's the moral efforts. Oh, I pulled up the wrong slideshow, but I had actually a quote pulled up from Time magazine where they were stating about why guns are not the issue, but it's the malicious intent of people that is the issue. And so what we need to deal with as a country is the problems that are obviously happening in our schools and in people's homes that are causing these children to do these malicious things instead of saying we need to take away the guns. We need to allow people to have the privilege and right to protect themselves in these situations. And instead of thinking of guns as an offensive measure, thinking of them as a defensive measure. And instead of using them to kill people, using them to protect not only yourself but the others around you to whatever extent you need to. So hopefully a lot of y'all have learned something from this, and if I was to encourage any of you to do anything, it would be to educate yourselves on gun safety and learn that it doesn't have to be a scary thing to mess with guns. It's more of being able to protect your family. I know in my house, whenever there's an intruder, the first thing that we would do is we would grab a gun to protect ourselves and our family, and we would do the same in our schools, and I think teachers should be able to do the same thing for their students and protect their students the way that they need to. So I hope that you all have learned a little bit and that y'all understand the need for teachers, faculty, and staff and professors to be able to carry firearms onto school grounds to protect their students.